So I think a lot of our stress and the heaviness that we feel in our everyday, daily lives is because we're so tightly zoomed in and we forget to zoom out. So this video is my reminder, it is your reminder to zoom out. And I want to share exactly what that looks like in action for me, how I make it simply, how it helps me kind of maintain a certain level of peace and sanity in the day-to-day craziness, chaos, stressful moments in my life. And I really want to share this via the lens that started this all for me. So, story time. I was 17 and I was going on my first international trip with the Young People's Chorus of New York City. Shout out YPC. We were going to Newfoundland, Canada. I haven't even heard of Newfoundland, Canada. It's spelled like New Found Land. And I was like, what are we going to do there? But we had a choral competition there. And when we weren't rehearsing or singing in competition, we had free days. And so on this particular free day, we were supposed to go whale watching. And I was like, we're going to do what now? Like live SeaWorld, because I was a girl from the Bronx. Yes, I've been to the aquarium, but I couldn't really conceptualize the idea of like going out onto the ocean and seeing a whale in real life, but it happened. So we're ready to go whale watching. There's this medium-sized boat that we're all gonna file into, and they put the orange life vests on us, and we walk onto the boat, and the boat starts sailing out into the ocean. So here we are on this medium-sized boat in this huge, vast ocean, and we're waiting, and we're chatting, and we're talking because we're we're teenagers. So we're chatty and we're waiting and we're looking out into the ocean to see what we're supposed to see. And I'm standing there and I think I was talking to my friend and I remember I just panned out into the ocean and I saw it. And I'm I saw this big creature, okay, come up out the ocean and then just go right back into it. But I was like, did I just see a whale? And I was a chatty kid. So I was very much speechless at this point. And I remember feeling in utter awe and also feeling like kind of scared because it got real that I was in the ocean with these massive creatures. And what's this orange life vest gonna do? Okay, this is gonna keep me afloat in the water. But look at this big old creature. But I was also like, wow, just standing there in that moment. And I remember because I was kind of a deep kid, I told you I wrote poetry. And so I remember that there was this feeling of I was small, but not insignificant. Like I was part of something bigger and something larger. And it felt amazing. Fun fact, that moment is what I based my whole like college applications on, my college application essay on. Like that's how significant that was for me. And the next year I was like, okay, this was a turning point for me in how I thought about myself in relation to the world. And I'm 17. It was spiritual, it was impactful. Like I said, it was a little scary, but it was amazing because now I'm 40 something and I still remember the feeling. I don't remember all the details, but I remember the feeling of standing there on this boat in the middle of the ocean and literally seeing this creature emerge and then reemerge into this ocean while I'm standing there. And the ocean in and of itself, right? The horizon, looking over it, it already feels big. And I was a part of that and I was a piece of that. And I think that combination of feeling small but not feeling unimportant was huge for me. And in that moment, I would say that I was able to zoom out because the zoom in was me chilling on the boat, chatting with friends, probably, laughing it up, kikiing. I don't know if we had snacks or something like that. I don't remember. But I'm like, we're being teenagers, okay? We're looking out into the ocean, but we're, doing our thing. That's the zoom in moment. And then when the whale came, looking out in the ocean was the zoom out. So what I equate this to in our real lives is you ever have those moments, and I know I do, where you're kind of you're not like your kids are getting along and playing. You don't have to step in and figure out like who stole whose toy, why y'all arguing, what happened, why are you yelling, playing mediator slash peacekeeper for your kids. They're kind of doing their own thing. Okay. And my kids are 6.5 years apart. So it can be a lot to navigate different stages of life. But they're playing alone and they're playing amicably. And you're on the couch and you're just witnessing it. You're not a part of it. You're not trying to fix anything. You're not trying to mediate. You're just witnessing your kids play together. You know what I'm saying? And you're just smiling to yourself like, wow. You know, sometimes I'm the mushy one. So sometimes, I might even shed a tear. Just the sheer visual of being able to zoom out and see them and look at them. And I do the same thing with my husband. He's so used to it because I'm putting myself out in Front Street saying this, but he's so used to it because I will we're not in a disagreement, we're not trying to figure out bills, we're not in the logistics and responsibility of life. And I will see him across the room and we'll lock eyes somewhere and I'll start getting teary-eyed. And in the beginning, he would be like, "Girl, you all right?" Now he just smiles at me or he'll mouth, "I love you too," because he knows that I'm having one of my zoom out moments and I'm just feeling grateful and feeling loved and feeling cared for and just appreciating where I am in that moment and where I am in life. And the reality is I spend, we all really spend a lot of time zoomed into logistics of life. 'Cause that's just what it is, especially if we are in struggle, which I've been in tension, times of tension, in times of like, we're in survival mode here, that gets really real. And I know that it can be difficult in those moments of just trying to survive, just trying to make it to zoom out. But this is how I've been able to incorporate that in my life in a way that it folds in. It doesn't feel like a burden. It doesn't feel difficult. It doesn't feel like I ain't got time for that. Okay. So if you could relate to what I talked about before, that those are the spontaneous moments, right? Where you got to sit down on your butt for a minute, take a breath, and you see something amazing, or you catch a glimpse of something, and that's your whale. You know what I mean? I'm looking at my husband across the room. That's my whale. I'm looking at my kids just play together. Ain't nobody fighting. Nobody's nobody's mad. Nobody's crying. Nobody's tantruming. Nobody's like, "Mommy, let me tell you what." Nobody's doing that. You could just look, that's my whale moment, right? That's the zoom out. But those are spontaneous. And what I have learned over the years is to capture that in moments that are just part of my life more intentionally. So that I have, again, like I told y'all, this is how I keep some semblance of peace and some sanity and some calm. And one of the things that I do is I will be aware, like I think we can be aware of the moments that we are alone with our own thoughts. And it might not be a long time. Okay. If you have small children like me, it might not be a long time. Or if you homeschool, if your kids are kind of with you all the time and they're really small and so they may not do as much independent time, and you take the time when they're being independent to do something and to busy yourselves, cool, I get it. But there are still moments when we're alone with our own thoughts, and to just be aware of that. Sometimes I have this big old window here. It's basically the whole wall in the bedroom. And so in the morning before my kids, rush in, especially the little one, and jump on me and wants a snack or breakfast, I will just look over to what is that, my left? I will look over to my left and look outside, have a moment with my own thoughts, take in the fact that we did it, we're here, we're in another country, we're feeling aligned with the decision that we made. And I just have that moment of gratitude. Didn't necessarily get up. I didn't write anything in a journal. I'm not saying you can't do that. I'm just saying I pick up on the moments where it's already there. Where I don't have to do anything extra. I just have to be aware of where I am in the moment. And sometimes I'll just be looking out the window. I'm looking at something and I can zone out for a minute alone with my own thoughts and be in a state of gratitude, because that zoom out is where the gratitude happens. That zoom out is where I feel at peace. That zoom out is where I ask myself, look, if things are tense right now, if there's a lot of things that are going that feel stressful, like how bad is it really? Like, is there something that I'm gaining from this? And is it as bad as I think it is in my head, or is it just like we're in the thick of it and we're taking steps and we're moving through it? Because that can be true too. And I will sit with that truth in those moments. Sometimes I'm looking out the window and I'm like, okay, getting out the door this morning was a lot. So the Uber was like going to take 15 minutes, but then somehow the Uber got lost, even though the pin is where I'm supposed to be. And now I'm going to be really late because I need to cancel this Uber and get another one, but I can't cancel it. I have to message the Uber to say, can you please cancel so that I can get another Uber who's then going to take hopefully only 5 to 8 minutes, but may take even longer. I'm just taking the risk. And then I get to the destination later than I want to, and I'm frazzled in this, and I have both kids, and this is true. So can you tell this is a true story? But I'll sit with that for a moment, even with the kids there, and I'll be like, okay, this must be a lesson in patience for me. Okay, Imani, you're gonna get there. When you get there, it's gonna be fine. It's moments where I can calm my nervous system when I'm frazzled, when I'm frustrated, and they're just folded into my life, not because I did something extra special, but because I was just aware of the moment and I took the time to do that. Another thing for me is I will get outside. My friend Samara just talked about this in one of her videos on Instagram, and I saw it on. Yes, I will just get outside, even if I have nowhere to go. I will walk somewhere, or I'll go somewhere where there's some trees, or I can just sit and be. Or when you take the kids to the park and they're out playing in the park doing their thing, then I can sit with myself and sit with my own thoughts and seize that moment. Even if it doesn't happen all the time, I'm able to seize that moment until they come and ask me for a snack or some water, juice, or something. I'm like, okay, I'm here in this present space. In the shower is also a big one for me. That's alone. The bathroom is just, we have small kids. When you lock that door, it can really be a sanctuary. Light a candle and just be. But I will use that time to just relax, to just be alone with my own thoughts, to be in gratitude, to think, because I'm already gonna take a shower. You feel me? These are things I've learned to just fold into my life. And even in doing this video, it's a reminder to do these things and to continue to be aware of these things. And also, it's great to hear it out loud because I do them, but I don't talk about what I do like this. So thank you. You know, I get an opportunity to do that. Thank you for hanging with me while we do while I do this and we do this together. But yeah, and the shower is another place where I fold those moments in. And like I said, those moments for gratitude, those moments are for zooming out and being like, okay, this feels like it sucks. What else is true? Could I be learning something from this? Is it as really as bad as I think it is? And it's a moment for me to be in appreciation, get clarity, understanding. But again, like not necessarily spontaneous, because those moments, like we talked about in the beginning, they're going to happen. And I make things happen. I strive to be aware and intentional. Now, child, this doesn't happen all the time, right? I'm human. This is life. You're human. Is life. Life is life. And sometimes we're tightly zoomed in because we have to be. And we do have opportunities where we can zoom out. We do have opportunities where we can look at our whale, look out into the ocean, the metaphorical ocean, and see our piece in something bigger and see the bigger picture and know that this is just one season. It's temporary. Things will shift. You're one person in this, vast world. You're one part of your family, and you are a significant part of the whole. But you don't have to hold the whole up on your shoulders. And that keeps me that I wouldn't say it keeps me because, it's a little bit of a roller coaster, but it puts me in a state of peace. It helps me regulate my nervous system. And I'm trying to think if there was another way that I know, like, oh, I fold this into my life intentionally. I'm aware of this moment and I seize the moment. But I can't. I think that's my whole all. So yeah, what does it look like for you? Just like leaving you with this question just to consider, like as a takeaway, as something, you can marinate on, you can munch on, when you stop watching, if you've gotten this far, is what does it look like in your life for you to zoom out, for you to take a minute, for you to take a breath, for you to take a beat. It doesn't have to be 30 minutes. Sometimes for me, it's like 30 seconds. Depending on what's going on in the household, it can be 30 seconds. It can be a few minutes. The awareness is really what made the difference. I wasn't relying on those spontaneous moments. I was taking the reins a little bit more in my life for my own sanctuary and my own um, tranquility, if you will. And I believe we all can do that. I believe we can all fold it into our lives, no matter how chaotic things are, um, or how chaotic things may feel. So, mm, yeah, I'll leave you with that. I Thank you so much for watching. I'm Imani, and I make videos to remind you to stay connected, connected to yourself, connected to your partner, connected to creating a life that feels good to you, because we only get the one. And if that's your vibe, please subscribe. Let's continue this. Let's continue this conversation. Let's go. Let's roll. And oh, asterisk, PS, all the things. I love I love a bit of organization. Okay, the type A in me comes out, and I talk about so much on this channel that I wanted to organize in a way that would feel good to you all. So I do have playlists where if there's a specific thing you want to hone in on, then you can go to that playlist and you can rock with me there. And so, homeschooling, world school and stuff, reflections on traveling and living abroad, marriage talk, relationship talk, and just self-awareness, self-growth, personal development, all of that. And even, I guess this was under the umbrella, I put a separate playlist for finding my creative spark again in my 40s. That could have been under personal development, but I'll be honest with you, I wanted that. I wanted to chronicle that specific part of my life because it's very significant to me in this season. And so if someone's interested in it, cool, there's a whole playlist. And also, when I go back and look at my journey, I can see that playlist too. So thank you again. I appreciate you. I'm going to see you in the next video.